Hello, you're watching VNA News and now headlines.
Party and state leaders meet voters in Hanoi and Ho Chi Minh City. Cashew exports revenue is likely to reach $2.2 billion this year. VNA pledges to reduce 8% of greenhouse gas emissions by 2030.
On October 12, Party General Secretary Nguyen Trong met voters in Hanoi to inform them about the planned agenda of the upcoming session of the National Assembly and clear up their questions regarding various issues.
The voters expressed their joy at the country's socio-economic development since the beginning of this year and reminded relevant agencies and sectors not to be subjective with emerging challenges amidst the international integration process. They applauded the National Assembly's discussions and recommendations on the Belief and Religion Bill to ensure healthy religious activities and avoid the excess organization of festivals. The voters also consented to the scheduled agenda of the upcoming session of the National Assembly and spoke highly of its recent operations, which showed the legislature's practical power as the highest representative agency of the people. On behalf of the deputies, Party General Secretary Nguyen Trong acknowledged and thanked the voters for their ideas. The party chief emphasized the need to improve the quality of legislation. To this end, the qualifications of the National Assembly deputies must be enhanced, he noted. He also acknowledged the voters' ideas on many other matters, such as the fight against corruption and fake goods, as well as ensuring food hygiene.
The same day, State President Trương Tấn Sang met voters in Districts 1 and 4 of Ho Chi Minh City.
Deputy Trần Du Lịch told the voters that in the next session, the National Assembly will focus on building and completing the legal document system, including 17 bills and 2 resolutions. The legislature will also spend time on discussing the socio-economic situation in 2015. The voters showed their interest in the qualifications of personnel for the upcoming party congress, which were discussed at the freshly ended 12th session of the 11th Party Central Committee. They also voiced concerns about other matters, such as the effectiveness of the fight against corruption during the past time and compensation for wrongful convicts. Some of the voters said corruption seems to increase. They suggested the state consider the reclaim of assets related to corruption cases. They also proposed that those involving in wrongful convictions must take responsible for compensating wrongful convicts.
The National Assembly Standing Committee convened its 42nd session on October 12 with a focus on preparations for the 10th sitting of the legislature scheduled to take place later this month.
During this session, besides discussing 9 draft laws, the committee will review government reports on the implementation of the Socio-Economic Development Plan in 2015 and the Socio-Economic Development Plan for next year. It will also scrutinize the implementation of the state budget in 2015, the state budget estimate, and the central budget distribution plan in 2016. As well as the diversification of government bonds and a project on the issuance of government bonds in foreign markets by 2020. Issues regarding the National Election Council and dates for the general election for deputies to the National Assembly and People's Councils at all levels will also be on the table.
Now move to other news. The Vietnam News Agency held a ceremony in Ho Chi Minh City on October 12 to celebrate the 55th founding anniversary of its former southern affiliate during wartime, the Liberation Press Agency.
In his speech, Vietnam News Agency General Director Nguyễn Đức Lợi recalled the time the Liberation Press Agency had the first radio news bulletin in the Trang Riep Forest of Tây Ninh Province on October 12, 1960. During the following 15 years of fierce struggle against the U.S., the agency's reporters weathered hardships to swiftly update warfare-related news and photos from across the South, helping encourage the entire army and people in the fight for national liberation. On May 12, 1976, 1 year after Vietnam was reunited, the Liberation Press Agency was merged with the Vietnam News Agency. He stressed that the agency staff will continue to uphold the glorious tradition and earn its place as the strategic news service of the party and state, building the organization into a strong multimedia group in the region and the world at large. On this occasion, the Vietnam News Agency office in Ho Chi Minh City inaugurated an exhibition hall displaying 200 photos and objects which feature the hard struggle of generations of Vietnam News Agency employees.
Cashew export revenue is expected to reach $2.2 billion this year after reaching robust growth thanks to higher prices and demand. More details coming up next.
The Ministry of Industry and Trade said the country earned $1.78 billion from cashew exports in the reviewed period, a year-on-year increase of 20.62%. The US, the Netherlands and China remain the three biggest importers of Vietnamese cashews. Among markets that recorded a strong increase in exports in the period were Germany, Thailand, the US, the Netherlands, and the United Arab Emirates. The global cashew market will see more positive changes in the fourth quarter, according to the center. The Diwali festival, an important festival for Hindus that falls between mid-October and mid-November and marks a major shopping period in nations where it is celebrated, will lead to a surge in demand for cashew.
To meet travel demand during autumn, the most beautiful season in the year, low-cost carrier Vietjet Air is offering nearly 50,000 promotion tickets for international routes between Vietnam and Seoul and Taipei.
The promotion will run from October 12th to 16th for travel period from October to March. Accordingly, the program is applied for flights on the Ho Chi Minh City to Seoul route, the Ho Chi Minh City to Taipei, and the Hanoi to Seoul route. Tickets can be booked at www.vietjetair.com. Payment can be made with Visa, MasterCard, JCB, American Express and ATM cards issued by 24 Vietnam banks that have been registered with internet banking. Vietjet received its 28th aircraft on October 7th, an A320 with shark-head wingtips. To welcome its new aircraft, the carrier will promote Skyboss passengers with a fare reduction of 15% for every payment via Visa cards from now to December 12th.
Vietnam vows to reduce 8% of its greenhouse gas emissions by 2030 with its internal resources and an additional 25% if the country is to receive international support.
Deputy Minister of Natural Resources and Environment Chen Hung Ha said that the commitment is included in the country's report on intended nationally determined contributions to coping with climate change. A conference was held in Hanoi on October 12 to announce the report, which was submitted to the UN Framework Convention on Climate Change on September 30. Vietnam also vows to carry out more adaptation activities to increase its resilience to climate change in the report, which is part of efforts to build a new global agreement on climate change with the aim to keep the global temperature rise by less than 2 degrees Celsius by the end of the 21st century.
There are several things Vietnam should do in the coming time to achieve the targets. They include increasing the effectiveness of energy using, developing renewable energy industry, strengthening sustainable forest protection and development. The country should also encourage people using public transport and use fossil fuel.
According to the participants, as one of the countries suffering the most from climate change's impacts, Vietnam has conducted many policies and programs to cope with climate change. This proves the country's efforts in the fight against the global phenomena.
The slogan "Don't Drink and Drive" are placed on 1,000 buses running in Hanoi to raise traffic safety awareness of passers-by and curb the number of accidents in the country due to alcohol.
This is part of the campaign Don't Drink and Drive launched by the National Traffic Safety Committee, the Ministry of Transport, Ministry of Public Security and the Vietnam Association for Responsible Drinking. The campaign aimed to raise driver awareness of the danger of alcohol and the country's strict punishments for those who do not respect the regulation on alcohol level. The slogan will be displayed on the capital's 70 bus lines, which operate from 5 a.m. to 10 p.m. Statistics showed 37% of 18,000 victims of traffic accidents in the north of Vietnam have surpassed the legal alcohol level of 50 mg over 100 milliliter. 59% of victims who died of traffic accidents because of alcohol are aged from 15 to 29 years old. 24% of those victims are aged from 30 to 44 years old. 93% of the victims are men.
Paintings of children and artists in Mountain Star Program 2015 are on display at the Chrome Up Rock exhibition in Hanoi. Let's take a look.
The Mountain Star Program, a charity art project initiated in 2014 by Taiwanese student Nguyen, a research student of Vietnamese studies at Hanoi National University. This year, the second Mountain Star project continues in poor villages of Hà Giang's Quan Ba district with the participation of 20 contemporary Vietnamese artists. More than 100 children aged 8 to 11 attended a fine arts teaching program by experienced artists, which aimed to support the disadvantaged ethnic children in Vietnam by art education. The children were all delighted to be using professional tools and painting on huge canvases what they dreamed about, things they adore in life. The exhibition also features paintings of contemporary Vietnamese artists which depict the contrast between days and nights, lights and shadows in the northern mountainous villages. The event runs until October 17th at the Exhibition Center, 29 Hàng Bài Street.
On October 12th, the Trong ethnic people commenced their celebrations of the Kid Festival, attracting local people and hundreds of tourists. Our reporters will have the full story.
In the central province of Ninh Thuận, religious dignitaries of the Trong ethnic group marched to the Phong Klong Charai Tower, where they began the washing and dressing ceremony for the deity. They also presented their offerings to pray for favorable weather and bumper crops. There were also dances performed by local girls, accompanied by the harmonic singing of Cham artists. The Kate Festival is an opportunity for the Cham people in Ninh Thuận province to celebrate and showcase their colorful traditions, as well as shedding a different cultural light on the ancient Cham Tower for tourists. Currently, there are over 47,000 Cham ethnic people across Ninh Thuận province. Simultaneously, in the central province of Bình Thuận, local Cham community also hosted a similar event at the Posa Inu Tower. Busked in the rhythmic sound of the Baranung drums and the Sarana trumpets, the Cham ethnic ladies, donned in traditional costumes, danced to the melody of the Bien and Marai. For the Cham people in Bình Thuận province, the Kate Festival is a day to worship the gods and pray for prosperity. The highlights of this year's Kate Festival is the many cultural activities that come with it, including a display of brocade weaving and Cham musical performances. Bình Thuận province is now home to more than 41,000 Cham ethnic people, making up 3.2% of the province's population.
And that has wrapped up our news bulletin. Thanks for joining us, and goodbye for now.